Hello, I'm Donald Leggett and welcome to this edition of Share Views, brought to you by London South East. Our guest today is George Frangeskides, Executive Chairman of Alba Mineral Resources, and he's here to talk about the recent acquisition of gold mines of Wales. Welcome, George.
Morning, Donald. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. You've been a busy boy?
Yes, indeed, yes. We just announced, as you say, that we've increased our stake, or we're going to increase our stake in Gold Mines of Wales, which is the owner of the Clogau Gold Project in North Wales.
So increasing by a further 41%, taking you to 90%.
Correct.
So what are you buying, and why is it better for you to actually be the sole owner of the asset?
Sure. Well, we're buying shares. We're going from 41% to 90% of the operator and the owner of the project, which is Gold Mines of Wales. And we are therefore having a control position moving forward. We'll be controllers of our own destiny. And we will. We've already got an exploration plan. We've already formulating a plan for reopening the mine. So that's something we can drive forward as effectively sole owner of the project. So that's the strategy, and it's a unique project, and we're very pleased to have it within our portfolio. So
let's pull right back. Give me an overview of what it is that you've actually bought.
As I said, we've bought. We are buying. It hasn't closed yet, but when we close, we'll be buying 41% of Gold Mines of Wales, moving to 90%. We've also.
What is Gold Mines of Wales?
So it's a private company that owns an option agreement. So in the UK, mineral exploration, you don't have exploration licences. The equivalent is an option agreement with the Crown. So Gold Mines of Wales benefits from a 6-year option agreement with the Crown Mineral Agent, Crown Estate Commissioners as they're called, and Her Majesty the Queen. So that's how mineral exploration is organised in the UK. So that's the key thing that Gold Mines of Wales has. It's the option agreement, the right to go and explore, and to reopen the mine at Clogau.
And how much gold is in that ground? In
them
there hills.
In them there hills. So historically, it's the UK's largest producer of gold, which is about 80,000 ounces reported. So that's reported. So in the old days, it may not have all been reported. So it may be higher than that. The Dolgellau Gold Belt, which is where all this gold sits within the Clogau mine, and also it's an exploration ground about 104 square kilometres. That's all basically under the control of Gold Mines of Wales. That exploration ground has produced 130,000 ounces, we understand, reported historically. So the beauty of the project historically, and why it's always been of interest, is that it's high-grade gold. So it's a narrow vein, nuggety effect, high-grade, pockets of high-grade gold. That's what we want to find. We think there's high prospects for finding unworked veins in the mine. We also think there are very good prospects for finding another Clogau or another good high-grade deposit within the exploration ground. There are 300 gold occurrences and workings that we've mapped historically in this exploration ground. So it's a two-pronged approach. Go to reopen the mine, explore the ground that's really been untapped for centuries.
Okay. And how much did you pay for that asset? And have they actually written off £1 million in debt? There's some confusion around that.
Yes, we paid £650,000 in shares. No cash has left our coffers. We've also agreed a lock-in arrangement with the sellers, so that we can keep an orderly market in our shares for the next 7 months from closing. And yes, there was £1 million of debt in the company that had been built up over time as exploration and work was ongoing. That is being assigned to us, effectively, therefore written off. So the company will move forward debt-free, and we will take it under our stewardship and move it forward.
Okay. And what does your balance sheet look like at the moment?
Well, net assets are about £5 million, steadily increasing over the last few years. We've built up quite a significant portfolio of assets, we think, which we can obviously touch on a few of them, probably not all of them, but a few of them today.
And we shall. Talking of other assets, Horace Hill flow testing has commenced. So what happens next with Horace Hill?
Yeah, so as you say, I mean, that's one thing that I think in terms of our investors and private investors and share price appreciation, that we have had recent good share price appreciation, but it's taken its time, and partly that's because the oil and gas assets have taken their time, if you like, to get to the next phase of development. So we're there now with Horace Hill, and we have started operations on site.
Has Horace Hill been a particularly difficult site?
No, the site's not difficult at all. I mean, you wouldn't know it was there if you until you happen upon it. The site is fine. It is just the nature of UK onshore, regulatory environment. I mean, we rightly need to go through all the steps and get all the necessary approvals. So that takes time. It has taken longer than we would have hoped. So that's to say why there might be a bit of frustration in the past with investors and ourselves. We're an investor in the project. We don't control it.
But you're flow testing now?
So we're flow testing now. So that's fantastic. So 150 days flow test program. I mean, we flow tested it in 2016 over a short period of time and came up with an equivalent of about 1,688 barrels a day over a very short period of time. So the key thing is to go back in. We're testing 3 zones. The Portland, which is a historic producer, is the first zone that we're currently testing, and then we move into the Kimmeridge 3 and 4. And we test each of those for 30 to 40 days, depending on how that goes. And the objective, obviously, is to determine that there's commerciality, so that the reservoirs are connected to commercial volumes of oil, essentially. And that's the test. And if we can do that, and we can show that, and we're comfortable that we've got there, then we would move to apply for a production licence, and other things will flow from there. We may well drill more holes in the future. That all remains to be seen. But we're excited because we're finally working on site. We're back in there. We're flow testing, and the proof of the pudding will soon be in the eating.
Has that 150 days already started?
Yes, so operations have begun, yeah.
So when do you expect it to finish?
November-ish, I think. So
Okay.
if you look forward 150 days, about sort of sometime in November.
And what will you be telling us in November? What's the commercial upside? What can we look forward to?
Well, if we can show that there's commercial volumes of oil and good flow rates, then, as I said, we'll be saying that we consider it to be a commercial proposition, and we move it forward to a production licence. That will take some time, but the operator is still targeting commercial production in 2019. So, that's in mining and mineral terms. That's pretty short term. So that's still the objective: is production next year.
Okay. So what's happening in Greenland right now? You've got exploration licences and so on. Have you actually started exploring? What are you doing in Greenland?
Yes. Well, we've got a number of assets in Greenland, but probably not time to talk about all of them. But I suppose the one that we're focused on the most at the moment is what we call Thule Black Sands. It's a mineral sands project in northwest Greenland. We picked it up in late 2017. We went out and did a bit of a short field program because we got it late in the season. We found very good results. We found in situ ilmenite of 10%, which is high. Our ilmenite quality is very good. It's 47 to 49%. Average 46.4%. So these are all good starting block.
What do you use ilmenite for?
So ilmenite is a primary source of titanium dioxide, and that is a whitening pigment in paints and plastics. It's a huge industry. I believe it's about $18 billion per annum and growing steadily as industrialisation and construction in the Far East, China, India, those sorts of markets, increasing use of paints, etc. So it's a very big industry. What we know we've got there then is very nice, high grade, low contaminant ilmenite. What we don't know yet is how much we've got of it. So what we're doing this season is going back in and doing a lot more sampling, covering a lot more ground. The objective is to get a resource, a JORC resource to build. That's the next building block, obviously. Gives the market confidence that we're moving in the right direction. So we've got high hopes for Thule Black Sands.
And what would you do with it then? What's the process?
Well, the process is to go into development. I mean, we're starting our environmental studies as well this year. We're thinking ahead to what will we need to get to from an exploration license to a production license.
Would you do that with yourself, or would you do a farm-in?
What
are your thoughts?
Our starting point is always to develop our own assets on our own. I mean, it's a lot easier to do that in the sense of being masters of your own destiny. But we keep all our options open with all of our projects. What is the best way to make money for our shareholders, to see share price appreciation? We're not wedded to our assets, but we obviously our primary objective is to move them forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sitting here hearing about a lot of very different assets. Why are you quite so diversified? Are you quite opportunistic as a company?
Yeah, well, I think that's a good thing. I think we are opportunistic. I think we, before my time, Alba was formed as a mineral exploration company, but particularly in mining. But we saw an opportunity 4 years or so ago when I joined the board to invest in Horse Hill. So that was a new venture for us into oil and gas. It was not new in the sense that it's UK, and we were very familiar with the UK environment. We'd been mining or exploring rather in the UK.
I would have thought the minerals in one sense are a specialism, but oil and gas is another specialism.
It is another specialism, it is, but we've got now good people on our team as well. So we've brought on some very, very good industry people that understand oil and gas, and we've increased our stake in Horace over the last few years to 18%. We're the second largest holder in the consortium, behind only UCOG. So, it is opportunistic, but that's because we saw what we thought was a very prospective opportunity. We got in at the base level, if you like, and hopefully we'll see the rewards of that.
No, I believe that opportunism is a strategy in its own right, so I'm not being entirely cynical. I think it's a good thing. So what does the next year hold, and what kind of news flow will be supporting the share price?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot of work at the moment. We're out in the field. So in northwest Greenland, we're working at Thule. As I said, we're doing a lot of sampling. We're hopefully taking a bulk sample as well. So we're doing a lot of test work in the closed seasons. We'll have a lot more of an understanding of how big it could be on our ground, and confirming the quality, and therefore starting to refine what the products will be and what the markets are likely to be. So that's the sort of next step for Thule Black Sands. We're also working up at Inglefield, which is a multi-commodity project with cobalt, copper, nickel, zinc, gold, a smorgasbord of interesting assets up there.
Yes, minerals I'm more familiar with.
Yes, so we're working up there at the same time this season. So there'll be a lot of news coming out of both of those projects in the close season as we
Horace Hill,
Wales, 150 days of testing. So as we go through the testing program at Horace Hill, we will be obviously releasing news as and when. So there'll be a lot of news flow from that. And Clogau, we're going back into the field to do some of this, look at some of this very interesting part of the Dolgellau Gold Belt, some of these nice targets that we've seen around the mine that aren't in the mine but near the mine. And exploring those to see what's there, and at the same time doing some work to start doing the preparatory work for planning in terms of reopening the Clogau mine itself. So plenty of news flow, I'd say, in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay, and and finally is give me the investment case for Alba Mineral Resources. What's your investment case?
Well, I think we're not a one-trick pony, right? So we've obviously touched that we've got at least 3 assets that we think are worthy of note, and those are Thule, Black Sands, Horace Hill, and our Clogau Gold Project. So I think that as to which one of those will be the lead asset in the years to come, it's hard to tell, but I think that all of them have got very good prospects for being company makers. So I think that if you're looking for a diversified play and something that's got access to oil and gas in stable and mining in stable jurisdictions and sophisticated jurisdictions, you like in mining terms, then that's what we've got in Greenland and the UK in particular. So we're very comfortable working in those territories. We know what we're doing there. We've got a very good team.
So this is not Africa. This is not the Far East. This is not the Siberian Russia.
Correct.
These are actually quite sensible jurisdictions you're operating in.
Yes, and not that it's easy to get into production, but that's certainly the plan. So look, we've got at least, as I say, 3 strings to our bow that we're pushing forward. Going to be pushing forward steadily in the next year or so, and I think that therefore we're a good bet to certainly to follow and see how those go.
George, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. That's it for now. Thanks to George Frangeskides for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the London South East YouTube channel for more interviews like this one. Thank you.